Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Crochet for Baby. Thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this baby hat with ear flaps. It's very easy to make. I did it to match the baby set that I showed you a couple weeks ago, the baby jacket and the baby pants. I'll leave the links to these tutorials down here in the information box. This baby hat here along with the pants and the baby jacket are for a baby between 3 and 6 months. And like I said, they're super easy to do. I made them specially for beginners since the only stitch that I use are double crochets and front post and back post half double crochet. So it's super easy to make. If you want to make this baby hat smaller for a baby between 0 and 3 months, just use a 3mm crochet hook with light number 3 baby yarn. For a baby between 6 and 9 months, use a 4.5mm crochet hook with light number 3 baby yarn. And for a baby between 9 and 12 months, you can use a 4.5mm crochet hook with medium number 4 yarn. Medium number 4 yarn is slightly thicker, so it'll make it slightly bigger. Okay, so I hope you like it, and without further ado, let's get started, and thank you for watching. Okay, to begin, I'll be using this 4mm crochet hook, and today I'm using this light number 3 baby yarn. I'll leave the link to where you can purchase the yarn down here in the information box. But I'm going to be using the same yarn that I used to make this baby set, which includes the baby pants and the baby cardigan. Okay, so to begin, I have 71 chains. This chain here measures 44 centimeters, which is about 17.25 inches. Now, the first thing that we're going to make is our brim, and the brim I'm going to make it in this color white, and the rest of the hat I'm going to make in the color blue. Okay, so to begin, like I said, I have 71 chains, and we're going to join to the first chain. So we're going to do this to make sure that our chain is not twisted once we do this here. So insert your hook right here to the front of the first chain, right there, and make a slip stitch. So just grab a loop and bring it through the front like this. Now we're joined and our chain is not twisted. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1, and into the next chain I'm going to make a half double crochet. To make a half double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, grab a loop, 3 loops on the hook, close. Again, yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, grab a loop, 3 loops, close. This is all I'm going to do on each one of these chains, 1 half double crochet on each one of the chains. Okay, so continue like this all around. One thing, if you prefer to make your brim any other way, maybe do single crochets, you can do that. The only thing I recommend is that you have the same number of stitches that I'm going to have once I finish this first row. Okay, so continue like this. I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of this first row. Up to here I have a total of 70 half double crochets, not including the first chain. Now to finish, I'm just going to join here to the beginning where I have this chain and make a slip stitch. And this is how I finish this first row. Now for the second row, we're going to chain 2 and we're going to flip this over like this. Okay, and then I'm going to insert my hook here into the first chain right there. Grab a loop and make a slip stitch like that. Okay, now for the second row I'm going to chain 1, and this first half double crochet that's here I'm going to work into a front post half double crochet. The next one, a back post half double crochet. The next one, front post half double crochet. The next one, back post half double crochet. This is all I'm going to do all around. Just alternate between a front post and a back post half double crochet. Continue like this. I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of this second row. To finish, I'm just going to insert my hook here where I have this chain and make a slip stitch. And this is how I finish the second row. Now for the third row, I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to do the exact same thing I did on the second row. This first stitch here is a front post half double crochet, so I'm going to make a front post half double crochet. The next one is a back post half double crochet. Next one, front post half double crochet. This is all I'm going to do all around, so continue like this. I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of this third row. I've already cut my yarn because this is the last row that I'm going to do here. So I'm just going to insert my hook here where I have this chain and make a slip stitch. Like this, pass this yarn through this last loop, and this part here is done. And here is my hat brim. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to add ear flaps to this baby hat. So here's the first ear flap that I did. It's very easy, very simple. And what I plan to do is I'm just going to attach it to this row here once we start making that row, but we need to make these ear flaps first. So I've already done one, so let me show you what I did in order to make this ear flap. So to do that, with the same color and the same hook, I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now into the last chain, or this first chain here, I'm going to make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Including the 3 chains we have at the beginning, we have 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now at the beginning and at the end is where we're going to make our increases. So to do that, we're going to chain 3, we're going to turn, and we're always going to make a double crochet on top of the first double crochet. This is going to be the increase at the beginning. Now the double crochets in between, we're going to work them in the same way, which is just make 1 double crochet on top of each one. Okay, and now we have the 3 chains. Here at the end, you're going to do the same thing we did at the beginning. You're going to pinch this last chain here and make 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Okay, so for the second row, I have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochets. Now in the next row, I'm going to have 8 double crochets. So chain 3, turn, on top of the first double crochet, make a double crochet, and the double crochets in between, not the last chain, you're just going to make 1 double crochet on top of each one. Okay, like this. And now here's the 3 chains. Pinch this last chain here and make 2 double crochets. 1 and 2, and we should have 8 double crochets for this third row. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, including the 3 chains. Now let me show you again one more row. So 3 chains, turn, on top of the first double crochet, make a double crochet, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and into the chain here at the end, the 3 chains, pinch the last one and make 2 double crochets. So that's 9. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, this is all you're going to do. I did a total of, let me see, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows, and at the end of the 7th row I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 double crochets, including the 3 chains. So continue like this until you have 2. I've already done 1, so I'm going to finish this one, and then I'll come back and show you what I did around this ear flap here. So I'll come back and show you that next. Okay, I'm here at the end of the 7th row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I did 7 rows, and then I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 double crochets into this last 7th row. Now what we're going to do next is single crochets all around. So to do that, I'm going to chain 1. Oops, I already chained 1 here. And then I'm just going to make single crochets 1 and 2 into this double crochet, and then we have the 3 chains. So I'm going to do the same thing, 2 single crochets. This is all we're going to do on these stitches that are along the very edge. We're going to make 2 single crochets just like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we have this last double crochet here. So 1 and 2. Okay, so here we have these 2 double crochets, 1, 2, and then the 3 chains right in the middle. Right here, we're going to open this up a little here, because right in between these 2 stitches I'm going to make 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Okay, and then here's the 3 chains, so I'm going to make 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and then I'm just going to continue along in the same way I just did the other side. Just make 2 single crochets in each one of these stitches along the side. And here's the last double crochet, so 2 single crochets there. And now we're going to work single crochets along the top. So on top of this double crochet, make a single crochet on top of the next, and so on. Continue like this. I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished making single crochets here into this last row, and all I did here was make a slip stitch here at the very edge where I have the first single crochet, and this part here is done, and we should have 2 pieces. Once we have our 2 pieces, what we're going to do is the following. For my brim, I have a total of 70 half double crochets. Now we're going to figure out half of that. So what would be the middle here? So this is the back, and this is going to be the front. So if you divide 70 by 2, you get 35. So what I did was I counted 35 half double crochets, and then I put a stitch marker. Between here and here, I have 35 half double crochets. Now, in order for me to put my ear flaps, what I did is I did half of 35. So half of 35 is 17.5, so you can either do 17 or 18. So I decided to do 17. So I counted from here, this is the first one, I counted 17, and then I put a stitch marker. And then for my ear flap, all I did was I folded it in the middle, and right about here, right there, is the middle, so I put both middles together. So the middle of the ear flap and the middle between here and here. Now let me show you the other side. So same thing. So this is where we finished. So on this side between here, this is the last half double crochet. Up to here I have 35 half double crochet. So half of that would be 17.5. So I'm going to do 17. You could do 18. So I'm going to count 17. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 half double crochets. So I'm going to put this stitch marker here, and then this is the front side of this ear flap. I'm just going to fold it in the middle like this, and just guesstimate the middle of that. That would be around here. And then all I did was I put both middles together. So the middle of the ear flap right there, and the middle between this stitch marker and the stitch marker. So now when I come around and do the next row, I'm going to make sure that I grab both of these stitches here, this stitch here and these stitches here, so that in the next row we secure them to the brim. Okay, and that's what it should look like. Okay, so let me come back and show you what we need to do next. Okay, so now to make our first row, what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my hook here where I did the last slip stitch here when I did the last row for our brim, so right here, and I'm going to do this in this color blue. So grab your loop, bring it through the front, chain 1, and into the same stitch here you're going to make a double crochet. Okay, so now on top of each one of these half double crochets you're going to make a double crochet. So double crochet on top of the next, double crochet, double crochet. Let's see, I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 double crochets, and then if you notice I have a stitch marker here. I added a couple more stitch markers here at the beginning and at the end, just to secure my ear flap, and that way I know that I have the exact same number of stitches in the back and here between the stitch marker and the stitch marker. So now I'm going to make a double crochet into this next stitch here, but I'm also going to insert my hook here where I have the ear flap, so into the single crochet of the ear flap right there, and I'm going to make a double crochet. Then I'm going to do the same thing for these next 7 double crochets. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double crochets, and then here's the center. So I'm just going to remove that stitch marker and then continue until I come to the very edge. Right there, make sure I grab both stitches so that my ear flaps stay nice and secure there. Just like this. I'm almost done. I just want to show you this side because you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. And then here's my last right there. Okay, and now my ear flap is there nice and secured, so I can still do one more stitch here. It won't hurt a bit if you do one last one here, and that's what I'm going to do. So that's what it should look like. Okay, so now I'm just going to continue around just making double crochets, and then when you come to the next ear flap right here, you're going to do the exact same thing. Okay, you're going to make double crochets here to secure this next ear flap, and then you're going to finish here at the end. So I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished making my first row of double crochets all around, and I have a total of 70 double crochets, and this is what it looks like. So now our ear flaps are nice and secured along with the hat brim. So now what we're going to do is, if you notice, there's a gap here. When I joined here to the top of the double crochet, this is what was left, a gap. I don't like the way that this looks, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this last double crochet, and instead I'm going to do the following. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook here into this space, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into this space here where we have the slip stitch right there. See that? Grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 3 loops, close. Now this stitch that we just did counts as 1 double crochet. Okay, and now we can just finish this row by making a slip stitch on top of the double crochet right there, just like this. And as you can see, that gap is now gone. Okay, so now for the second row, we're going to chain 2 into the same stitch here where I just did my slip stitch. I'm going to make a double crochet. This is how we're going to begin each row. The 2 chains do not count as a stitch. They're just there so that when we finish, there's not a gap once we're done. So now I'm just going to continue around, just making 1 double crochet on top of each one of these double crochets all around. At the end of this second row, you should have a total of 70 double crochets. So continue like this. I'll meet you here at the end to show you how we're going to finish the second row and then show you the third row. Okay, I'm here at the end of this second row. I have a total of 70 double crochets. Now, from here on, you're always going to have 70 double crochets, and to finish this row and all the rows to follow, you're just going to go to the top of the double crochet right here and make a slip stitch. And this is how you're going to finish every row. Now, to begin every row, you're going to chain 2. These 2 chains do not count as a double crochet. So now to begin this row, you're just going to go into the same stitch we did the slip stitch and make a double crochet. Double crochet on top of the next double crochet, double crochet on top of the next, and so on. You're just going to continue all around making double crochets, and remember, at the end of every row you're going to have 70 double crochets. Now, I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do for this hat, so I'll let you know here how many rows I'm going to do. Okay, so continue like this. I'll meet you at the end of this row to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I did a total of 7 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of double crochets, and it measures from here to here. It's measuring 4.25 inches, which is about 10.5 centimeters. Okay, so now here to continue, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 2, and into the same stitch here I did the slip stitch. To finish the 7th row, I'm going to make a double crochet. In this part here, I'm going to just make 6 double crochets, and then I'm going to work a reduction. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and into these next 2 stitches I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into the next stitch, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the next, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. And here's our first stitch reduction. Now I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to make 6 double crochets and then a reduction. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and into the next, yarn over, insert your hook, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 3 loops, close. And here's the second stitch reduction. Now this is all we're going to do around. Just repeat the same sequence of making 6 double crochets, and into the next 2 make your stitch reduction. I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of this first row of reduction. Up to here I have a total of 62 double crochets. Now to finish, we're going to go to the top of the double crochet and make a slip stitch. And now for the second row, we're going to chain 2. Inside the same stitch I did the slip stitch, I'm going to make a double crochet. And now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to work 5 double crochets. I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the 6th and the 7th, this is where I'm going to work a stitch reduction. So yarn over, insert your hook, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the next, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 3 loops, close. And here's the first stitch reduction. So from here on, you're just going to make 5 double crochets. So let me show you again. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the 6th and 7th you're going to make a stitch reduction. So okay, and there it is. Okay, and that's what it should look like. So continue like this all around. I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of this second row of reductions. I have a total of 54 double crochets. Now to finish this row, go to the top of the first double crochet and make a slip stitch. Now for the third row, you're going to chain 2, and into the same stitch we did the slip stitch, make a double crochet. Now here what we're going to do is we're going to make 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and into these next 2 we're going to work a stitch reduction. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the next 2, yarn over, insert your hook into the first stitch, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 3 loops, close. Now again we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the next 2 a stitch reduction. So yarn over, insert your hook into the first stitch, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the next, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 3 loops, close. Continue like this all around. I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of this third row. Up to here I have 44 double crochets, but I still have these last 2 double crochets. Now here we're going to work a stitch reduction into these last 2. So yarn over, insert your hook into the first, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the next, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 3 loops, close. And now to finish, I'm just going to go to the top of the first double crochet and make a slip stitch. And this is how I finished this third row with a total of 45 double crochets. Now for the fourth row we're going to chain 2, and into the same stitch here where I did the slip stitch we're going to make a double crochet. Now here we're going to make 3 double crochets and then a stitch reduction. So I have 1, 2, and 3. Into the next 2 I'm going to work a stitch reduction. So yarn over, insert your hook into the first stitch, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 3 loops, close. Now again we're going to make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and into the next 2 a stitch reduction. So yarn over, insert your hook, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab a loop, 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Now this is all we're going to do, so continue like this all around this fourth row. I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of the fourth row. Up to here I have 36 double crochets. Remember that this stitch reduction here counts as a double crochet only. Now to finish, I'm going to go to the top of the double crochet and make a slip stitch. And this is how I finish this fourth row with 36 double crochets. Now for the next row, I'm just going to make single crochets all around, and I'm going to make reductions as well. My hat measures the size that I want, so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1, and into the same stitch I did the slip stitch I'm going to make a single crochet. Into these next 2 stitches I'm going to work a stitch reduction. So insert your hook into the first, grab a loop, into the second, grab a loop, 3 loops, close. Into the next stitch make a normal single crochet, and into the next 2 make a stitch reduction. So insert your hook into the first stitch, grab a loop, into the second stitch, grab a loop, 3 loops, close. So one more time. So single crochet and a stitch reduction, single crochet and a stitch reduction. Okay, continue like this all around. I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of this single crochet row. I have a total of 24 single crochets. Now, if you have more or less, it doesn't matter. All you're going to do here is go to the top of the single crochet here at the beginning and make a slip stitch. Now, I've already cut my yarn and I've left a pretty long tail here, so I'm just going to I'm just going to pull this loop here and make a knot here. Okay, this is how I like to close my hats, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. So this end here, I'm just going to pass through this needle like this, and we're going to weave our yarn here in this last row. So into the first one, insert your needle, skip one stitch, into the next one, insert your needle, skip one stitch, and into the next, insert your needle. So do this all around. I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end. I just removed my needle, and now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this inside like this. Since this is the front side right there, I'm going to turn this over like this, and now what I'm going to just do is pull this string here and close the top just like this. And now with this loop that I left here, it's easier to just tie it instead of weaving your ends and doing all of that. So here I'm just going to make a double knot so that when I do this, it doesn't slip and it's nice and secure there. And then I'm just going to tie another knot. Now I'm just going to hide my ends, turn this over, and this is what it looks like from the top. My baby hat is done. Now I'm going to do one row all around like this in the color blue. So to do that, I'm going to go here to the back. This is the right side, and with this color blue, I'm going to insert my hook here right at the very end where we did the first row of front and back post half double crochet. So insert your hook there, grab a loop, make one chain. Okay, now we're going to work these stitches in the same way that you see them. So this stitch for me, the half double crochet that's back here, is a back post half double crochet. So I'm going to make a back post half double crochet. The next one is a front post half double crochet. Next one, back post half double crochet. I'm going to do this until I come here where I have the ear flap. Okay, so I have, let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, let's see, 9, and 10 half double crochets. Okay, and then we have this ear flap. So rather than doing this next front post or back post half double crochet, I'm going to jump to this single crochet right here and make a single crochet. And that's how we're going to transition between the front post and back post half double crochets to single crochets around this ear flap here. So here I'm just going to make single crochets all around this ear flap. Now this is just a decorative row. You don't have to do it. I just think it's going to look a lot nicer and the colors are going to look a lot better here. So I'm just going to show you all around this part here until I come to the next end. One more. Okay, so let's see what it looks like. Okay, that's perfect. So let's see how many stitches. I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 stitches. So now here I'm just going to go into this stitch here, which is a front post half double crochet. So I'm going to make a front post half double crochet. And that's how I'm going to transition between the single crochets and now the front post and back post half double crochets. Very easy. Okay, so now continue like this until you come to the next ear flap, and you're going to do the exact same thing I did here. So continue like this. I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished here on this other side. To finish, I just did a slip stitch here to the first chain that we had, cut my yarn and passed my yarn through that last loop. One thing, I did the same thing here along this side, so if you want to do the same thing, here's what I did. Okay, so we're going to turn this like this. I'm going to insert my hook here where I have this front post half double crochet. This is the last front post half double crochet before we transitioned into making the single crochets down here. So I'm going to grab this loop, bring it through the front. Now I'm just going to yarn over, and this next stitch that follows is a back post half double crochet, so I'm going to make a back post half double crochet. The next one is a front post, back post. So this is how I'm going to work this part, and just do the same thing I did around the brim. Front post and back post half double crochets. Okay, just like this. Now we could have done this first, but I didn't think I was going to make this side also in this color, so I think it looks a lot better if I also do this part in blue. So you can do that first if you like. So here's my last back post half double crochet, and to finish, just insert your hook here. This is the half double crochet that we did once we transitioned from the single crochets into the front post half double crochet. So grab a loop, bring it through the front and make a slip stitch, pass this yarn through this last loop. I've already cut it, pass it through, and now all you're going to do is just pass this yarn through the back, and this part here is done. Now I'm going to make a pom-pom, so I'll come back and show you what that looks like. I'm also going to show you what I'm going to do here. I think I'm going to do a chain, but I'm not sure, but I'll show you that next. Okay, I finished making my baby hat, and this is what it looks like. I added a little pom-pom down here in the information box. I'll leave a link on how I make my pom-poms. This part here also I did 60 chains, and then I just attached it here to the very center of our ear flaps. Same thing for the other side. Okay, so this has been today's tutorial. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.